Good day, everybody, and thank you for joining me. Today I'm doing number 2 run in the South Park Golden Hill area. This is gonna be a shorter one, about 2.5 miles. Today is August 19th, 2021. Right now, we're running alongside the Balboa Park Golf Course. Alright, so we're going to go down this hill, up the other side, and that'll take us to the dog park, the Grape Street Dog Park. So last time I was talking about that I was training for the America's Finest City Half Marathon, and I did that this past weekend. I had some family come down for support, which was nice. Nice weekend to do it. It was pretty humid, but overall, pretty nice morning for it. And overall, I finished, but it wasn't anywhere close to like being a personal record for me. I was hoping to be close to an hour and 30 minutes. Anything under hour 35 would have been a record, but I finished around hour 42. And I had trained, I ran upwards of 14 miles, and I was doing a lot of stadium workouts, doing stairs, so not getting as much mileage in. So maybe that was what led to my disappointing time. Disappointing for me. But this is a race I've done in 2019. It was the first half marathon, and that's when I got hour 35. Next one after that was the Carlsbad half in 2020, January, before everything shut down. And I did that in an hour 38. So they're getting steadily worse. But the thing with this was I knew how to gauge it compared to 2019. And I remember in 2019 when the pacers for an hour and 30 passed me, they were like around like mile marker 7 or 8. This time they passed me at like mile marker 5 to 6. So that was like, you know, it hit to my motivation. And then I just kept running, hoping I never saw pacer 1 hour and 40 minutes. Morning. And unfortunately, they passed me at mile marker 12. And that's at the same time when I'm climbing my last long steady hill. And once they hit, it was just really hard. So I ended up taking like a minute walk. And I tried running again for another minute. And I did that off and on like 2 or 3 times. So yeah, it was unfortunate. Not my greatest performance. You know, I say it's more mental than physical. If you got the mental stamina, you can do it. And then I kind of forgot about this race. I was like, or not America's Finest City, but I'm talking about a different one. I forgot last year I registered for La Jolla half, which is supposed to be in May, but they had to postpone it again. And then they just emailed saying it's now going to be in December. So I have that one coming up. So something to keep me motivated and training. And the La Jolla half, I've never done that, but I was looking at the course that had the elevation guide, and man, it looks almost like the opposite of America's Finest City. America's Finest City, you start at the top of Point Loma, and then you go downhill from 400 some odd feet to sea level. Then at the end you climb like 250 feet. Pause that thought for a second. Right here, Ford Maverick. You don't see those very often, but for some reason in this neighborhood I know of like 4 of them. Very interesting. Anyway, La Jolla half, is the opposite almost, where you'll start out doing a bit of a climb and then like levels out at some point to sea level, and then when you get to Torrey Pines you climb like 450 feet pretty rapidly, and then you level out at sea level again, then climb a bit. So we'll see. That one might be just as tough, if not harder. But I'll definitely have to do more mileage training. So right now, we're in the South Park district on 30th Street, where there's a nice tree-lined street of shops. Right up here on my right side is Full Circle Tattoo. That's where I got my first and only tattoo. Mateo's grilled chicken on the right. Pretty good spot. Not had the grilled chicken, but it's a good dessert place, an Italian market. This is the Station Tavern. Railroad themed because it took the geographic spot of an old trolley stop from the early 1900s. Nice dog friendly, big patio. Anyway, my tattoo is an outline tattoo of me running with my two dogs. It was really like one of my greatest joys in life, but as they got older and one went blind and one effectively has a torn ACL, I can't run with them anymore. It's a Target here on the left, one of those city Targets. Not been to Fern St, but it's always packed. I don't know how to say it. Paisera Mio Italian restaurant is really good. I went there this last week for a celebration, and we had a lamb dish and something I haven't seen in a long time, which was a pesto lasagna. And god dang, it was so good. And I've thought about that dish a lot over the years. Like in high school, actually back when I was a kid, I was a very picky eater. I didn't eat mushrooms or tomatoes or just anything that as a real young lad I thought was gross, and so I carried it on into adulthood, and I just had a really confined palate. And so in high school one time my mom and dad took us to an Italian restaurant, and I actually think it was like an old fast food restaurant, like an old McDonald's, because I could tell where we were sitting was like the old outdoor playpen. Anyway, I saw lasagna on the menu, loved lasagna, so I ordered it. Didn't know what pesto was, and this thing came out glowing green like kryptonite, and I was like, oh my god, what is this? And my mom's like, just try it. And I tried it. And it was like seeing color for the first time. It was amazing. It was my introduction to pesto, and I've never looked back. I love pesto. Anyway, never saw it again since then, up until this last week. Not quite the same. Like, it was more of a creamy pesto, but it was still delicious. Let's go this way. And that first restaurant, I don't remember what it was called, but it was somewhere in Santa Rosa or the Sonoma County. Up in Northern California. So up here on the left is Hamilton's Tavern at South Park Brewing. I guess it caught fire last year, so it's been shut down this whole time on top of COVID. Hope they reopen. And then there's Kindred, a vegan bar and eatery, and then Buona Forchetta. But yeah, I haven't heard of any news about the owners of Hamilton and South Park Brewing, which is the same couple, reopening. But I only live a few blocks away, so I'm hoping if they do, it'd be nice to have like a local drinking spot I can go to. Alright, that'll about do it for us today. August 19th, 2021, 7:30 in the morning. Thank you for joining me in this 2.5 mile run through South Park and Golden Hill. And until next time, keep those feet moving.